Widows Walk, scanning the horizon, watching the sea, the warmth of the fireside, guided their creaking ships past the ever-present lighthouses safely into port. Today as yesterday, these sentinels of safety bring gladness to the hearts of the homing mariners.
Hello, everyone. We're live, I think. I can't hear anyone, but I think we're live.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hello. That means we're live. It's very exciting. Yay. It is, however, our first time being live, so bear with us. Exciting night tonight, and done. I just told everyone tonight, for the next 3 hours-ish, we're in your house.
Well, it's our house. It's all of our house. You all belong to it now. Well, happy Valentine's. Why don't you tell us
a little bit about this house?
Yeah, I will. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you for being here. Let me tell you a little bit about the game we're going to be playing today. So it's the year 2010 in the sleepy town of Pretty Marsh Harbor off the isolated east coast of Maine. We're following the story of a family of teenage foster children that live with Mister and Mrs. Toothaker, the brother and sister caretakers of the storied Seawall Orphanage. Pretty Marsh is like a lot of small towns in America. There's one stoplight just outside of the town there, and it doesn't always work. Folks pitch in to care for their community. They work hard, they play hard, they enjoy the vast and unique beauty of the island. In the summer, tourists invade and locals do what they can to make money, enough money to keep the town running in the long, cold, stormy winters. They fall in love, they get married, they have children. They live good lives, most of them, and then they die. Too often in a tragic accident or a murder or something else entirely, something that can't quite be explained. In most ways, Pretty Marsh Harbor is just like any other small American town. It's got baseball and a grocery store, a drunken mayor, and it's got its fair share of secrets. Skeletons in the closet, ghosts that roam the streets just out of view in the corner of our eyes. Devils, not from this world, lingering on the ceiling, watching us while we sleep, hungry for what we have, life. Just like any other small little town in America. The story we're telling is The Haunting of Seawall Orphanage, a story of the children who live there, who will survive, or maybe not, a terrible event in the lives of all those who call the island home. It's a story about growing up, about family and coping with grief, about true and unrelenting evil. And that time in our lives when we still had hope that the world could be whatever we wanted it to be. The game we're playing today, to tell this story, it's never been played before, and it doesn't have a name, at least not yet. It's a very low prep, collaborative, improvised role-playing game where the players and myself share control over the story with simple mechanics that just sort of revolve around the characters' resilience to hardships in their lives and the horrors that they experience. It's a game on a clock. Every hour, the darkness spreads and life gets a little more scary. We'll explain the mechanics as we go, but know this: when the clock runs out and darkness falls, the session will end when the next player fails a roll of the dice and something terrible happens. So that's the game in a nutshell. With all that said, give it back to Charlie and then we'll meet our players.
Before we get into the show tonight, we do have a number of sponsors that Past Charlie will talk about. And I'd like to remind you that you can interact with the show by using the click in, by donating. We have some special options for tonight, which Don will explain after the sponsorship reel, I think is the plan. And also you can hit that retweet. And if we hit 20 retweets or more, we will unlock a special player poll for at the end of the session where you, the audience, will have your chance to have an effect on the story that we tell here tonight. So without further ado, let's have Past Charlie tell us all about those sponsors. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. Thank you very much, Past Charlie. So please do check out our sponsors, Fantasy Grounds, Wayland Games, Tabletop Loot, and for this season we have partnered with World Anvil, and you will be able to find on World Anvil a whole compendium for this show. Coming soon, TM.
Yes, yeah, we've actually already, we had a couple of session of zeros over the past week or so, which were awesome. And we use that to build the world, the island, each location, its importance, it's some of its secrets. And we'll be releasing what would be public knowledge about all of the locations and the people that we've kind of created together in our World Anvil, which I'm really excited about. I want to say this is the first time we're playing the game, and we'll be learning a lot about how we play and how to play the game with the audience, with everybody watching. Rules might change a little between sessions here and there, but we'll introduce the mechanics as we go along. I want to go ahead and begin, though, by having everybody introduce their characters, tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you've been up to, and tell us what you want the audience to know about your character before we begin. And I'd like to start with Ray. Hello.
Hey, I'm Ray. I am playing Staley. Staley is 15. She is an angsty teen on the outside and a soft, gentle being on the inside. So we'll see how that goes with a horror game. But you can find me at With a Brick on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. I have something on the DMs Guild that you can go check out, and I have more stuff coming. So keep an eye out. But yeah, I play Staley. Let's see how this goes, I guess.
Fantastic. Let's go on down to Josh. Hey, Josh. I like your hair.
Hey, Don. I did not realize how much hair I had. Look, this is me at 16. What is this crap? I'm not ready to deal with this again. It's taking me back, Don. Speaking of taking me back, Don approached me and was like, "Hey, want to be in a horror show?" And I was like, "Yes," because I'm British and I struggle to say no to people because I'm terrified of horror. I'm so afraid. So I am playing me, or a me that I have forced into a situation where he can be part of this show. So I'll be channeling a lot of me at 16, who was a shitty little emo kid and just looked terrible and made terrible choices. And yes, I'm aware that this waistcoat does not go with this t-shirt, but in 2010, I didn't know that. I will be playing Jacob Prince, and I'm very much looking forward to this. Based on the world building that we have done, oh my god, we have all channeled so many things from our own past into this, which I guess that's the whole point of this, right? It's to vanquish the horrors of our past and hopefully not die to them. Please be kind, Don.
I promise nothing, but I'm excited to see what happens. And I'm very glad when we were doing the session zeros that everybody did pour more or less a little bit of their own personal experiences into it, because when you're a teenager, it's a very formative period of time in your life. It can be a terrifying period of time in your life, and it's kind of the power of horror, is that it gives you the ability to face your fears, the things that have always scared you, the things that haunt you, the things that they're still experiencing grief over, and take a little control back for yourself. And that's why so many people who maybe don't watch horror movies love playing horror games. I really believe that's the reason why. So I'm excited for this. Let's continue on. Hello, Lydia.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to play Ren. She's 14. She's very sweet and innocent and naive, and she's a kind little kid. She's been at the orphanage for a long time. Her dad passed away on the island in one of the accidents that happen here frequently, which I'm sure we'll hear more about from Dawn. Anyways, on Twitter, you can find me at Lydia Heels. You can find me all corners of the internet at Lydia Heels. That's it. Moving on.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Tommy. Hi, buddy.
Yes, hello. I am Tommy. Let's see, I'll go with I am Imperator Pengu on the Twitter sphere. You can find me doing various tabletop RPG shows. I will have something posted there soon with my schedule of what I'll be doing. Just about everything I'm doing this season is horror or extremely dramatic and like just absolutely, heart-wrenching. So it's going to be a real fun season. We'll be channeling that a lot. I also do some video editing and sound mixing for various channels. I will be playing Jay Hopkins, who is 17 years old. He is, I like to say he's very well put together. He's a bit of an academic, very interested in biology right now, especially in entomology and sort of biological engineering and all that. He's always very well groomed, always wears collared shirts and all that, and he's that sort of charming, almost valedictorian, but not trying that hard kind of guy.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's go on to, I don't know if he's also running for valedictorian. I don't know if he's in the running, but let's meet Trav. Travis, hello.
Not in the running for valedictorian. Hi, I'm producer Trav. I'm very glad to be here by the grace of present and past and future Charlie. And I'm ready to rock. You could find me over on Lindy's channel playing a lot of D&D and Aliens because I'm slowly working off a large cash loan she gave me. She's charging me 2 points on the VIG, and if I don't pay her off, she'll break my legs. So that's what I do most of the time, but I'm here on Encounter Roleplay playing Merrill Gross, and he is heir to the grocery store chain fortune, and he has suffered a head injury. And you asked me what I think the audience should know. He is obsessed with water. He is absolutely convinced of the existence of hell, and he is currently obsessed with the song The Weight by the band, and kind of has a rotating like weekly, bi-weekly song obsession. I don't think I'm the only one besides Merrill who does that, but that's what's up. I'm ready to get it on and get spoopy.
Awesome. Let's go and meet our last cast member. Hello, present Charlie.
Hello, present Dawn. Spooky Dawn. So I obviously am me, and you know who I am. So I will be playing tonight Gigi Binks, who is 16 going on 17, with sun-bleached hair and a nice tan from being outdoors all summer long, avoiding adults as much as she can, except for when she's at work, where she works very hard and is generally surrounded by a lot of adults down at the yacht club. She keeps to herself for the most part, but shares a room with young Ren and daydreams a lot of the idle time away of other places and other lives that she might live if the money under her mattress ever hits a critical mass.
Perfect.
That's all I have to say about Gigi.
Well, let's get started. The last weeks of summer are a beautiful time to be in Pretty Marsh Harbor. Tourist season is starting to die down just a little. The air is warm, but not hot. The days are long, blue skies up above, few storms, few rain, and everyone's making the most of it. Soon enough, the tourists will go home, and the couple hundred people who call this island home year-round will stay. Business slows down, and the island will be racked with terrible winter storms, feet of snow, and people stop saying hello to each other in the wintertime. Everyone goes just a little off. Everyone waits and dreams for the summer to come. But today is a good day. For the foster family living in Old Seawall Orphanage, it's a special day. It is Gigi's 17th birthday, which means there will be a party early in the evening, and everyone in the family is required to attend. Right now, as we begin our first scene, it's 3 p.m., and there's about 4 hours before the party. So it's time now to look on to the children. Let's start with Jacob. Josh, 3 p.m., 4 hours before the birthday party. Where would we find Jacob?
What day is it?
It is a Friday, the first week of August. No school. School starts several weeks from now, so you still have, it's that late summer, last weeks of summer before you have to actually go back and at least try to attend classes.
Don't know what you're talking about, Don. I am most definitely in my room. I don't know if I'm alone. My roommate may or may not be there. That's up to them. But I am laying on my bed underneath a very large bullet from my Valentine poster, which is right next to my very large Fallout Boy poster, which is right next to my... It goes on and on and on. I have sort of like wallpapered with posters. I am probably listening through a guitar amp that I don't actually have a guitar for, because I can't play any instruments. But I'm listening to my iPod to something loud, probably louder than is necessary. But I actually have headphones on, as if I'm not listening to it at all. I am sat on my bed. I am reading. My room is a mess. You would be able to see there's clothes. I've got the classic floor job going on in the most way. It is a complete disaster piece. As I'm sitting there and listening to that, there's probably the faint smell of a cheeky cigarette that I've been having out the window, and I've come back in, and I'm just sort of like feel up on the end of the bed, reading a book, just ignoring the entire world. But I'll leave it to my roommate to decide whether or not they're with me at the moment or if I'm alone.
All right. And who is Jacob's roommate? I believe it's Meryl.
Me.
Correct?
I did it.
So
Yes.
so let's go to you. So you're Jacob's roommate. Are you in the room with Jacob when we?
I walk in. The car has dropped me off, and I walk in with like a day bag, which is like a leather valise that I'm carrying for no reason whatsoever, and I flop it down on the bed. And he just got back from it's like a neurologist appointment, or like an optical specialist, and he's not in a good mood, and he looks over with total contempt at the My Chemical Whatever poster there on the wall. Bunch of guys in eyeliner thinking that they're hardcore. But I like this guy. I like my roommate, so I don't shit on his music. But there's a clock ticking, and Meryl feels like throwing it across the room. Wherever that ticking is coming from, I'd like to destroy it.
So there is, outside of the series of bedrooms here on the top floor, or on the second floor rather, a large old grandfather clock, and it doesn't always tick at the right intervals. Sometimes it's steady, sometimes it's a little fast, sometimes it's a little slow, but it's always very loud. And you can hear it through the thin old wooden walls. Is there anyone else who would be in this scene, would be in Meryl and Jacob's room about 4 hours before the party? Okay.
I left the door open.
In that case, we will start here, and this will be our first scene. And when we start a new scene in the game, usually when we move to a new location, a new major location, or we move to different characters in a different place, we do a little ritual to start off the scene. And it begins with me saying the following: Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Meryl, what is one truth about this scene?
They're not going to be able to save the eye. And he suspected it for a while, and they confirmed it today. And he's processing, trying to be a tough guy.
You're processing that news, but it's not the only bad news you've had today, Meryl. Transcripts to the local school, the Dupree school. You've received a piece of mail that has told you that you're going to actually have to repeat the previous year of school. You're actually being held back.
Uh-huh.
And that is how we will begin the scene. You get to read the end of our little begin the scene ritual.
I do?
You do, yeah.
Wait, what do I? Oh no, Don, don't do this to me. What do I have to read here?
That's okay. I'll read it this time.
Yeah, you read it. Yeah.
So
read it this time.
The clock is ticking, and there's never enough time. But we're still here. Jacob, you see Meryl come into the room, leaves the door open behind him. You can hear that tick, tick, tick. The clock outside.
I probably reach down, and I'm wearing Converses on my bed because I have no respect for anything. It's screw the system. And I reach down, and with my foot, I reach for the volume knob on the amp, and I give it some thought. I look to my roommate, but I can hear that ticking, and that ticking drives me up the wall. And I contemplate just drowning it out by cranking this all the way to 11. but then seeing that my roommate seems off his game, looks like he's had a hard day, I will relent and I will just kick it down to like 3 and swing my feet off the bed, get up, sort of stress, mess my hair up a little bit, because of course, like in these private moments, it's important to still look your absolute most seen, amazing, hair puffed up. And I come over to Meryl and just, you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm hanging in there. Listen, I will trade you a honey bun and a 2 snowballs for 2 cigarettes. And it should be noted that Meryl gets the snack truck from Gross, comes by the orphanage once a week, and Meryl gets all the cheap snacks that he wants and trades them to his roommate for cigarettes. I'll give you these 3 right here give me 2.
Fine. And he will go over to the window ledge, and he'll take a moment to sort of like, he takes his skateboard and uses it like a hammer to sort of like tap against the underside of the window ledge, and the window ledge pops up. And outside, actually on the outside of the building, where like the tiles are hanging down the side, there's like a small little gap, and inside he moves aside a few items that are also stashed in there that we'll get to another time, but finds a small stack of the cheapest, the nastiest, the worst cigarettes that you can, like, whatever is the bottom of the barrel. But
Salem
you can buy in bulk.
hundreds.
Yeah, them, whatever they are, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And I will reach in and I will take 2 out, and they are, all of them will be slightly creased, like, because they've been battered about and stuff, and I come out and I take out 2, hand them over, and then I take out a 3rd one for myself, and I will go over to the door and just tuck it behind my ear, look out into the corridor to see if there's anybody coming, and I'll kick the door shut. And
Jacob, as you're just peeking out, just for a second, the door at the end of the hall, which you know is the Toothaker's door, the one that they keep locked, there's 7 different locks on the door. Nobody ever goes in. You can see it creaking closed, and you get just a sliver of Mrs. Toothaker's nightgown right before it shuts, and then you hear the locks locking one at a time.
I peer down the corridor for a second. That's a good bit of gossip. Not a lot happens. That's a good bit of gossip. Like, saw the door open. I mentally figure out how I can make that story more impressive as I come back in, kick the door shut, and I'll grab. So Jacob has one of those stupid belt lighters. One of the ones that's really flash, that costs way too much money and was sold to him by a guy in a mall who was just like, whoosh-cha! And he was like, oh wow, I'd look really cool if I could do that. So he totally does that, and we'll offer Meryl a light and go over to the window, lean out, and just, so what happened?
These are the Salems. I miss the Pall Malls with the recessed filters. Those are the good ones.
Well, you pay me in snowballs, so maybe.
Yeah, I know. Beggars can't be
I
choosers.
hate coconut.
No, they can't save the eye. They told me today. I just got back from
Oh shit!
the guy. Yeah, it is what it is. I have a small visitor joining me in the booth today. It is what it is.
Words I can't say in front of small visitor, but like expletives.
I know, she
Jason's mouth for a moment.
Yeah, that's about what I said. You know, see what happens. Some people get that tattoo on their eyelid. It makes it look like their eyes open all the time. Maybe that's what I'll do. That won't be creepy.
Yeah, I gotta sleep across the room from you. Could you not do that?
No, I will. I'll just stare at you all night long, which I do anyway. But
Actually, there is a great song called "Sleep with One Eye Open." That I could like. It's a great song.
that's the Metallica group that the kids are so
oh my god, no!
so excited about.
Oh god, dude, it's kind of fucking embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little.
Why? We could use a little Metallica in here, man. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
I'll find.
What are they so upset? No,
it
answer
on
this.
my-
What are they so upset about? What are they so upset about? Answer that question. Why is he so upset?
Look, it's not about. Look, you don't understand. It's not about like. It's not dude, look.
Hey, man, you listen to what
I
you
don't
want to
argue.
Look, I am not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to smoke.
No,
I'm here to put my feet up. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here to eat honey buns and put my feet up because I have one eye now, and I'm gonna have to figure out how that works. You know, I think I'll take a nap. What time is this thing?
Oh, it's like I don't know. I honestly I don't even know if I want to go.
You going?
Like
You're not going? It's Gigi's big thing.
I know, but like
You don't want to go? She's my parents' favorite waitress.
Yeah, you sidestepping that conversation for the 1000th time. It's not like I don't get me wrong. Gigi's wonderful. I like Gigi. It's not Gigi. Gigi's nice. Gigi's good people, but
sure.
It's fucking it's Mrs.
Birthday party.
Toothaker. You know, I don't want to be around that. Like, I just don't need that today. You know.
Right as you say that, you can hear through the thin walls sounds like the screeching of a record, and then a loud music. You're not sure. It sounds like orchestral music. And a few moments later, from down the hall, you can hear the old off-tune voice of Miss Toothaker. She starts to sing. It sounds like an attempt at an opera song from her bedroom.
That's music. That's real music.
That is. Oh God! What is?
Listen to that.
Genuinely, when were you born?
It's like angel wings brushing together, my brother.
It's like listening to an old lady who swallowed a dying cat. Like,
yeah,
it's horrific.
Michael Bolton's the same way. My mother's a big Michael Bolton fan. Hang on a second.
I believe that.
He rests his cigarette on the windowsill. You know, it's just so it doesn't burn out, and like skips across the room. I got a present for Gigi. Hang on a second. Give me I need a bag or something. Give me like a bag or a. Can I have that Spencer's Gifts bag there? That's in your trash pile at the foot of your bed.
Yeah,
that is also your laundry hamper.
Yeah, just there's like stuff in it. Just toss it on the floor.
That's cool. What the hell were you doing at Spencer's anyway? You buying penis bachelorette party materials? You can be.
Why would your head go there? Why? What?
You bought a blacklight, didn't you? Did you buy a blacklight? I'll allow a blacklight in here. If you want to hang a blacklight in here, I'll let you do it.
The music outside down the hall stops with another screech, and you hear the thump, 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 thump of heavy feet going down the hall past your door to the stairs, and then thump, 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 thump down the stairs.
We good? Shit,
I want to move over. I want to move over for a minute and introduce another scene here. So let's talk about Staley. Where would we find Staley a few hours before the birthday party?
Staley would be in her room. which it's a double room, but there's no one else in there with her at the moment. So it's like half of the room is hers, and then half the room is just empty with an empty, creepy bed that just kind of has like a blanket thrown over it just to be a little less ominous. She's probably sitting propped up in bed with her feet on the bed, you know, relaxed, reclining, probably has some low music on as well, reading, just sitting, trying to keep herself calm because she knows that the party, although fun and social, will be just aggravating to her. All the kids running around, Mister and Mrs. Toothaker just being their weird selves. She's kind of just like preparing for what is to come this evening.
And is her door open or closed?
It's open. It's probably wide open. She would make it very known that although she's trying to relax, anybody is welcome to come in or out.
Yeah. So would any of the other characters be in Staley's room at this time? Okay. So we'll start in.
I was gonna say if it went on for a little while and nobody said anything, she'd probably like eventually get really frustrated and shut her book and slam it on the bed and then walk over to Jacob's room.
Oh, perfect. So we'll play that out then, so that they'll come back here in a moment. So this again is the start of a new scene, and that begins by me saying, Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. What's one truth about the scene, Staley?
There is this slightest hint of that music still playing in the back. Like she can hear it, even though she's not super close to that room with Miss Toothaker. She could probably still hear the tail end of it. And it's like, that's probably what frustrates her, is that she can't focus on reading anymore because it's just like high enough to hear, but low enough to not be obnoxious.
It's from the floor below and like the other side of the hall on the floor below. And what's the window like in her room? Is it open?
She keeps it cracked almost all the time to let in the fresh air.
And we'll say that another truth in this scene is that the Toothakers have neglected going grocery shopping for the past couple of days, and it's been a few days since you've had like a real meal, anything other than a snack. And they promised that there will be food at the birthday party tonight, but I think it might be getting to Staley.
Okay. Yeah, that mixed with the unpleasant sounds are definitely going to irritate her enough to go over to Jacob's room and want to complain about it.
All right. And right as you're coming down the stairs, you can hear the tick tick, and just like on the second floor and the third floor, there's another one of those huge, identical grandfather clocks, just slightly off rhythm. And you're coming down the stairs from the third floor to the second floor, and you hear, as you're turning the corner, the thump, 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 and you see Mrs. Toothaker descending down to the first floor in her nightgown. Just heavy feet, and she's got in her hand some object that she's got covered up so that you can't quite see it. But you see her turn the corner, and she stops as you're coming down towards Jacob's room. She smiles up at you, and her smile, you noticed before and you notice again. You can't ever tell if it's a real smile or if she's in pain. It's too wide. Just a little too wide. And she clutches the object to her chest and waves her hand up at you while she smiles.
Hey, and I just try to say something and just duck past her and keep going.
You can hear her voice come from behind you as you move back to the second floor. Dearie.
Yeah. Can I help you with something, Mother Toothaker?
Yes. For the party tonight, we'll need a bucket of ice. Would you be a dear and make sure that we have a large bucket of ice for the party tonight?
I can definitely do that. I promise I will have a large bucket of ice for you this evening.
Bless you, child. And she waves again and smiles big up at you, that too big smile. And then she turns and quickly, with heavy feet, thump, 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 down to the bottom of the stairs.
She'll just like take a moment to ponder what just happened and just kind of like shake it off and right her beanie and keep moving.
And I think Jacob's door is closed. They've shut it.
I'll take a nice hefty knock, a knock that he knows is definitely me.
All right. This is about the time that you're handing him the bag that he requested.
I walk on over, and I feel like this would be a thing that would be, because we should not be smoking, obviously. I feel like a thing that we do is maybe Meryl's door. We pull like maybe Meryl's bed. We pull it slightly in front of the door so the door can't open into the room. So I will go over and like kick it over, open the door, like really like annoyed and everything like that, and then immediately that kind of fades and just like, hey, you want to come in?
Hey.
We just
I just have the weirdest interaction with Ms. Toothaker, and I'm annoyed. Can I come hang?
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
You wanna
slide in the door?
A cigarette?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
I'll hand it over, and then there's snowballs on the bed if you want one, and I'll barricade the door again.
I'll take a snowball. I love coconut and just like rip it open, start eating it, and through muffled cheeks be like, and just swallow it. Okay, so Miss Toothaker asked me to get a bucket of ice for the party tonight, but it was in the weirdest context, and she's being real weird. Did either of you two notice anything funky?
She's trying to take her kidneys?
No, but she had something that was covered and it was held close to her, and she was smiling, but you know how she does that weird smile thing where it's a smile, but it's not a smile?
Was it a kidney?
Yeah.
Was she holding a kidney?
It wasn't bloody. It didn't look wet. So probably not. What's with your obsession with her and kidneys?
I just don't trust her. I think she's creepy. And if some weird old lady tells me to get
a tattooed on the back of your eyelid, don't talk to me about creep.
I was entertaining.
What?
How dare you? By the way, how dare you? I was entertaining ways to cope with the fact that I just lost my fucking eye. Roomy. Anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Meryl.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So I was thinking, you know what? I'll get like a funny hat, like a jaunty hat that I'll wear to the side like Prince, and it'll cover half my face, you know, kind of this way. Maybe a bandana.
You know, like, pirates are kind of cool. They're like in. Maybe you should just rock the eye patch.
I was going to see how long it was going to take before somebody mentioned a pirate.
I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but now Staley has said something. Like, we do live on an island.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. You could, like, go to the wax museum and blend right in. Maybe you get free admission.
Totally.
You know, I wasn't upset before, but I'm upset now because of what you've done here. Why would you do this? Why would you even suggest such a thing?
Hey,
I'm already...
I think this is a good time to check in on another character. Let's bring another character into this mess. Lydia, where would we find Ren several hours before the birthday party?
Ren would be in her bedroom. She would be reading probably like some young adult book.
And does she share a room with anybody else?
Yeah, she shares a room with Gigi. They've been roommates for years, so they're very close.
And would Gigi be in the room currently, or would anybody else be in the room currently? Gigi would?
Gigi's in there. I think that there's a lot of stray cats that hang around the orphanage, so I think that as Ren is reading her book, she has one of the stray cats that she's kind of like adopted as her own, and it's laying on the bed, and she's kind of petting it while she reads.
What's Gigi doing right now in the room?
I think Gigi is tearing through her closet, trying to figure out what she's going to wear. Because while she's pretending this birthday party is no big deal because, you know, it's just the orphanage family, it's also a big deal to her. So she's trying to go for that perfect, I tried, but I didn't try too hard. But also it's the orphanage, so it doesn't need to be that fancy. And so she's kind of pulling things out. She's dumped things all over the end of her bed. She's putting things back, and then she's complaining that she's lost the thing that she just had. But it's mostly to herself. She's just kind of bustling in her corner in a little self-absorbed bubble.
Ren's probably so used to like Gigi tearing through her closet, it's not even like breaking her focus while reading.
Well, we'll begin the scene here then. Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Gigi, it's your birthday. What's one truth about this scene?
Gigi cannot find the perfect thing to wear because she needs to wash it. But the laundry, the washer in the basement has been kind of malfunctioning recently, so she can't wash it. And it's driving her nuts because that's the one thing she wants to wear.
And what I'll add to that, the truth that I'll add is that Mister Toothaker has promised the past several days that he was going to get around to fixing it. And even as early as this morning, when you didn't have breakfast, you had junk food, snacks that they had around the house, he promised again that with plenty of time before the party tonight, he would fix the washer down in the basement. And at this point, as Ren's reading and you're tearing through the closet, Gigi, that you hear on your door.
Shit. And she kind of flusters for a moment, seeing the mess she made, because she generally likes to be tidy and presentable, especially when Mister or Miss Toothaker kind of come in and she's assuming it's them. And so she hurriedly just grabs in her arm the armful of clothes, shoves it in the closet, and closes the door in the ultimate teenager cleaning move. And then she'll kind of push her hair back and go and open the door. Hi?
Door creaks open just like every door in this old house. And standing there is the very tall, gaunt visage of Mr. Toothaker. He's still got a few stray hairs left on the top of his head, gray. Wrinkled skin, maybe not as wrinkled as Miss Toothaker, his sister, but more weathered, more leathered, more time spent out in the sun. He smiles a small smile down to you and he says, good news, Gigi. Fix the washer.
Oh my god. Yes. Yes. And she goes running back to that closet, pulls it open, the clothes spill out all over the floor like a little tide of fabric. And she just tears through until she finds that one top. And I think it's one of the grocer's t-shirts, but she's modified it. She's like cut the neckline and maybe tie-dyed it, but it's got like a great big ketchup stain on it, and she can't wear it with the ketchup stain because that wasn't intentional. The rest of the wreckage was intentional. So she scoops up this and she looks over to Birdie and kind of as if to say, do you have anything you want washed?
No, Gigi, just go wash your clothes. I'll hang up the rest of your things.
You're the best. Yes.
Mister Toothaker is like stepped into the doorway and is just kind of like got his arm out across the door. He looks in and he says, Now there, Birdie. It's Gigi's birthday. Why don't you come along and help? I'll help too."
In the basement?
There's nothing to be scared down in the basement. Just an old washing machine and, my office.
I was gonna help Gigi and hang her clothes up that she got out.
Birdie. He gives you that like severe look. Here's what I want. Let's do our first roll of the game. And this is gonna be for Ren. I want you to roll to handle it. And when you do so, this is gonna be a cool roll. So cool is one of our ability scores in this game. It represents your ability to deal with pressure or to charm individuals or convince them of your point of view. And you go ahead and roll the number of dice in your pool. And you're looking for at least one of your dice to roll a 4 or higher.
And Don, I don't know if you want to have it take effect, but we have had our first fade.
Let's click it over then. So every hour in our game, you remove 1 dice from all of your pools for all of your ability scores as things get a little bit more challenging. And sure, let's just start at a level harder than normal. So -1 from your cool, and then roll that number.
One die.
1 die, so roll 1d6, and you're looking for a 4 or higher.
I got a 5.
All right, so when you succeed on one of these rolls to handle it, you get to describe narratively what happens. That includes maybe how Mr. Toothaker reacts or how Ren gets out of the situation, whatever you'd like.
So he would look at Ren and he would start to try to convince her that she needs to come down and help Gigi. But then he kind of looks around her and sees like the massive sea of clothes on the floor that Gigi like thrown out of her closet, and he is like, okay, maybe it would be more helpful if you stayed up here. She doesn't need extra hands to put a shirt in the washer.
And that's what he says. Just make sure you clean up real good now so that she can get a good night's sleep. Everyone deserves a good night's sleep on their birthday, don't you think, Birdie?
Everyone,
All right, now you be a good girl.
Always
Steps
am.
out of the door. he'll like pull his arm back away from the door and step out into the hall and just wait for Gigi.
And Gigi will kind of stop in the laundry basket at the end of Ren's bed and grab a couple of light things to throw in the wash with hers, give her a kind of smile, and then she'll shoot out like a stray cat who's been shut in a room, just shoot straight out to go and get what it is that she wants, which is her top washed.
And you can hear, not as heavy-footed as Miss Toothaker, but you can hear the steps of Mr. Toothaker behind you as he follows you down the stairs towards the basement. Ren, what do you do after they leave?
She shuts the door but doesn't latch it, so just like closes it so people can't just like peer in, and then she just does what she says she's going to do. She starts hanging all of Gigi's clothes. She is going to do a really good job and like make sure that they are organized in the closet, that they go by like color and style and all of that. And then she's also going to make Gigi's bed for her. And then she's also going to start making a birthday card.
What's the birthday card? When you say make a birthday card, she's not purchased this, she's making it from scratch?
Yeah, she's young, so she still has like some arts and crafts stuff. So she's gonna use like construction paper, and she's gonna cut out a card, and then she's gonna like write some song lyrics from like Gigi's favorite song in it.
I love that. All right. Let's introduce the last of the fam here. Tommy, where at this point would we find Jay?
I think Jay is probably in his room. I think during the summer he probably gets a part-time job at the museum because they need some extra hands during the season. But he's gotten home in the last hour or so, and he is in his room. He's got his record player on. It's currently playing Rhapsody in Blue, and he's sitting at his desk, sort of humming along as he has this little plastic box next to him, where there's damp paper towels laid out, and he is currently pinning a new butterfly to one of his collections.
Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, some of them terrifying. Jay, what is one truth about this scene?
I think that Jay, while he would to the normal eye right now look calm and collected, has received news back from a scholarship that he applied for. That would hopefully have gotten him some help into going to college, and was unfortunately not selected. So he's a little upset right now.
I'm going to say the truth that I want to add to that is that Jay only applied to 2 schools, and this was his first choice.
So I don't think the schools yet, right?
What's that?
I don't think it's quite schools yet. That's
What's
later
just
fall?
a scholarship? Just a scholarship?
Yeah, this is just a scholarship, yeah.
So the truth I want to add to that then is that the only method Jay would have without the scholarship to actually go to school would be to take out a lot of debt. And he's started to do the math on what that could mean for his future. And that's sort of weighing down on him in this moment. Describe this little butterfly. What's special about this butterfly?
So this is a black swallowtail. It's as its name implies, it's mostly black. It's like most swallowtails, its main thing is that it mimics a certain swallowtail, the pipe vine. And the pipe vine is generally pungent or toxic to certain, predators, so that's how it sort of stays safe. And he hasn't managed to catch one of these in such good condition until recent.
When you're pinning this butterfly, maybe it's the nerves from school, Jay. Maybe it's the nerves from never having caught this specific breed before, but you can feel your hands are just a little sweaty, a little clammy. You've got the little needle that you're using, and it keeps slipping just a little bit between your fingers. You're just sort of hesitating a little bit, because if you make a wrong move and you tear this wing, then you've sort of ruined your specimen.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear during this time too, the stomp, stomp, stomp up the stairs of somebody down, and then more stomp, stomp, stomp of somebody else. A couple more people coming down the stairs, loud music, just a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm. And I think Jay just sort of does the and sets down the pin, pulls his hands back, and I think he grips the table for a moment, a little angry, a little upset, but trying not to vent. Apparently, I'm not going to get this done for the party. And he takes the butterfly and gently sets it back in the little plastic box and sets another sort of damp paper towel on top of it and replaces the cover, and he heads back over where he keeps this box. And Jay has managed to secure one of the only single rooms in this orphanage. So it's a bit, overall in size, it's a bit smaller than the other rooms, but that's because it's for a single occupant. But he has his own room. Everything gets to be exactly how he likes it. Books are organized based on subject matter, author name, and then hardcover, softcover, size down. And he goes to his desk and he cleans each individual piece, places it back exactly where it should go. Takes a deep breath. Now the loud music, is that Miss Toothaker's loud music, or am I also getting the music from Jacob and Meryl's room?
So yeah, first it was some loud orchestral music from the second floor. You could hear Miss Toothaker's scratchy voice as she was trying to squawk out some opera song in Italian. And then that turned off, and the stomp, stomp, stomp. And then shortly thereafter, you hear the loud music from Jacob and Meryl's room. And that's still going on right now. And then you heard a couple other people come down the stairs. And right as you're kind of gathering your things and you're hearing that music up above, you hear it tink, tink, tink. And it's from the jar where you place the butterfly.
I look at it.
You can see the butterfly flapping its wings in there, and it keeps beating up against the edge of the glass again and again, rapidly, almost violently.
I could have sworn you were dead a moment ago.
Go ahead and make me a cool check.
yeah.
Just because of the reaction you made. And you can remember, take away 1 from your current pool because we are in our second hour.
Okay, so it's going to be a total of 3 for me then. Hey, that's a 6.
That's good. That's good. So you get to describe what happens next narratively.
I look at it and think, perhaps something I didn't know about Black Swallowtail. It can play dead. Well, he goes over to a notebook, takes out a notebook, takes out a pen, writes that note down in his notebook, puts it back, puts the pen back exactly where it was. Well, you'll be dead in a few hours anyway. No oxygen in there. And he's gonna go, he's gonna open up his door. He's gonna realize that it's Jacob and Meryl's room where the music is coming from, and he's not gonna stomp over there, but he's going to go over there and gently knock on their door.
Absolutely. Before you get up there, as a matter of fact, the moment you open your door, just hovering right outside your door is Miss Toothaker, just smiling. She's got something in her hands.
Hello,
hi, dearie.
Mother.
She smiles when you call her mother. My needle broke, and I need it for the party tonight. Can I borrow one of yours, dearie? Please.
You see, like, Jay's eye twitches slightly just from just having to lend someone something of his. He just twitches it a little bit. Just, of course I can. You need it right now.
Oh, yes, thank you. That would be fantastic. It's for a gift. A gift for Gigi.
Yes. Any clues as to what you've gotten her?
Oh, that would be spoiling.
You know I wouldn't tell anyone.
She moves her hands just a little bit and then clamps them again, where she's holding something kind of to her chest, something small. Go ahead and give me let's call it an empathy roll.
Oof. That's gonna be one die. That's a 3.
So in this case, I get to describe what happens next, and it's simple. In this case, she just says, No. Surprises are a good thing. You should learn to find the fun in them. That needle now, child.
Yes. Let me get that for you. And he returns to his room, goes to his little jar that contains all the needles. And he takes a deep breath, takes one out, takes another deep breath, returns to Miss Toothaker and gives it to her. Anything else I could do for you to perhaps prepare for Gigi's party?
She snatches quickly the needle out of your hand, and then immediately turns around and begins to stomp away, not answering you for a second, and then she stops and just sort of looks over her shoulder, halfway over her shoulder, and says, we're going to need a large bucket of ice for the party. Could you make sure we have ice for the party?
Of course, I'll run over. Do we happen to have any in the fridge, or do I need to run to Gross's?
They keep even though the house is old, they do have an ice machine. It's one of those old ice machines where you kind of have to scoop it out and it recreates more later. It's in the kitchen.
All right. I will make sure we have ice.
Thank you,
I
dearie.
look forward to seeing your present for Gigi. I'm quite interested.
I think she'll love it. And then she stomps away. As you're standing there in the doorway before you head on elsewhere, that butterfly that was in that jar is no longer moving. It's just laying. Looks as dead as it looked before.
Well, I'll give it a couple more hours. Make sure you're not playing dead this time. And then he's gonna walk over to. He's gonna close his door. Would by any chance No, I don't think. I think we've established that there's really no way to lock the doors around here unless you're inside, right?
Just the
I think yeah.
There's the one locked door, but the rest of them, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you can lock them.
He's gonna walk over to Jacob and Meryl's room, and he's gonna politely knock on their door. Just a quick 3 raps. Just knock, knock, knock.
Right as you knock, let's move away again. I want to return to Gigi doing laundry because it has to happen. So, Gigi, you're taking a hamper full of laundry, right? It's a large hamper. It's a lot of laundry.
I imagine it's kind of more like a basket because she's just grabbed like a few of Ren's things and then she's got her top. And so it's more like an armful, I imagine. So it's kind of cumbersome in that way, in that it isn't properly basketed up. It's just all wrapped in her arms. And I imagine she's dropped a sock a couple of times off the top and had to stoop to pick it up. And
so you're entering now the basement of the house with Mr. Toothaker, behind you, and it's an old concrete cobwebbed basement. There's not much here besides the two large machines, which when they work are still very, very loud. A few boxes of things that have been put into storage just kind of tossed away haphazardly on the side of the wall. Sound of a little bit of water dripping from where there's always some sort of leaky pipe down here. And then back beyond the washer and dryer is not entirely see-through, but somewhat fuzzy, transparent curtain, is cuts off a back part of the basement where Mr. Toothaker has his office. He's following down the stairs with you. Go ahead and introduce one truth for me for this scene.
Okay, so the truth is, every time Gigi comes down here, she looks beyond that fuzzy covering, and more than once she's seen something or someone beyond it, but she's never gone closer to look.
And the truth I'll add now is that as you step down the stairs and your gaze takes you to that curtain, that plastic curtain, you don't see anybody beyond it. This time you don't see any movement. There's a light bulb. It's turned on the other side. Somebody's turned on the little pulley light bulb, but you don't see any figures there.
And the clock is ticking. Sorry, go ahead. There's a shadow? Okay.
It's just behind you. It's just Mr. Toothaker.
Reassuring. So the clock is ticking, and there is never enough time, but we're still here. And I think you described a leaking pipe, and I imagine that there's kind of one of those damp patches on the floor that's just always damp no matter what the season is. Or, the condensation from the house kind of gathers, or, it's rainwater that's coming through, and Gigi's going to try and hop over the damp patch because she's in her socks, and she doesn't want her socks to get wet on the way to the dryer and washer.
And you can hear like a little laugh from Mr. Toothaker behind you. Something about what you did catches him funny. He comes down behind, he takes a large step over a little bit of water, and he says, well, how can I help you?
Well, I think we're out of suds, actually. I was looking for them. And she looks around, and I imagine there's kind of shelves maybe that have like industrial size containers of detergent, and there's decanted ones for the younger children to use. They could just scoop it out, and she's grabbed one of those, and it's empty, and she's looking up towards the industrial one, and she'll hand him the empty container and kind of wrench open the washer to start shoving the pile of clothes in her arms in.
And behind you, he reaches up, being much taller, to the top shelf where he grabs one of those industrial containers, which you use because in the wintertime, you don't want to have to make a lot of trips to the grocery store. The snow gets bad. People get shut in sometimes for weeks at a time on this little island. And so he pulls down the container and he fills it up as you're starting to prepare the washer. And he brings it over to you, the little scoop, just enough for you to use, and he says, when's the last time you had a check-in there, Gigi?
And she's covering the clothing with the detergent, like it's kind of icing. And she kind of frowns and looks almost out the peripheral of her eyes towards that chair, and she means, you mean the doctor, Mr. Toothaker?
Oh, no, not the doctor. Give me a good smile there, birthday girl. Let me see that nice big 17-year-old smile.
And she grimaces and then turns towards him and flashes him her best hospitality smile, because he's not the first person to ask her to smile occasionally. And when you're at work, it's what you have to do. Don't be that person. Never ask anyone to smile.
I agree, and I felt that before. Having worked in the hospitality industry for a long time. So he kind of looks down at you and he clicks the back of his mouth, says, pretty good there, Gigi, but you really should get a cleaning.
Oh, and she like covers her mouth, feeling suddenly very self-conscious. Is it really that bad?
Well, it's not bad. It's just preventative care. Did I? Well, you know that I used to be. I used to study dentistry.
Sure. You
If you want, you call it a birthday
tooth
present, but I could give you a cleaning before your party if you'd like.
Right now?
It's up to you. I mean, we're already down here, and he kind of gestures off to the side towards that plastic curtain.
And she seemed to weigh it in her mind, and she remembers like it's her birthday. She does want to look her best. White teeth would be great. And she kind of shrugs and slams down the washing machine lid, probably a little more carelessly than she should. And it kind of reverberates around the drum. Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's very good. We'll just take care of your laundry, and I'll get all set up back here for you, and we'll get you looking nice for your birthday party tonight. It's gonna be a fun one. I know Miss Toothaker has been working on it real hard.
Do you know who she invited from town? Yeah, I mean, if she invited anyone, or is it just us?
Well, I don't personally keep the calendar, but I don't have a very good mind for it, so I'm not too sure. I guess it'll be a surprise.
I guess so. And she looks kind of disappointed that he doesn't know. She'd been hoping to hear someone had been invited. And then she realizes she's kind of...
Is there, and you don't have to share who, but is there someone in particular she hopes to come?
I think there's a couple of people that she hopes would have been invited, and then one person that she hopes to come, even though she's not sure how the Toothakers would magically know to invite this person. And I think as she's kind of trying to downplay the fact that she's almost disappointed, she spots a sock that she'd left on the stairs, and she hops back over the puddle to get to the stairs to grab the sock, and then dashes back to put it in the washing machine before it kicks up to too high a spin.
And in the meantime, he's gone ahead and ducked back behind the curtain. You can hear the tinking of metal tools against metal tables, the sounds of him preparing, to give you a check-in, a cleaning. As you continue to hear that of the washer just beating against it, echoing in this concrete hall. And then he steps back out from behind the curtain. He says, "Oh, I'm ready now if you are."
And she glances kind of upwards, weighing in her mind if she thinks anyone is likely to come down and catch her doing this, and then remembers like no one likes coming down to the basement, so it's probably fine. And she'll kind of duck towards I imagine it's almost like one of those like gauzy bath curtains, like the plasticky ones.
Exactly,
so
yes.
Goes to the edge of it, and she reaches out and kind of pull it back a little so she can slip behind, but she doesn't want to like throw it open. She just kind of pulls it to the side enough that she can skirt around it.
And there's an old chair there with clean white paper that's been put out over top of it for you to sit on, and his tools cleaned and prepared on the side. And you can hear him say, "I'm gonna grab a glass of water. I'll be right back, Gigi. You just wait for me there."
Okay. And she approaches the chair and kind of looks it over. I think maybe even kind of touching the covering of it. Does it seem to be in good condition? I missed if you said. condition it was in.
The chair itself is old. It's the sort where like parts of the material have been pulled open and there's a little bit of stuffing hanging outside of it. But the paper over top of it is new, and the table, the metal table that the tools are set out on, that looks new. The tools look well cleaned. The chair itself is old. And there's not much else in this room besides that, too. Again, just like with the rest, it's a concrete wall with cobwebs kind of hanging in the corners.
I think she kind of does a loop of the chair, and she'll pause and kind of pick out a little bit of the stuffing and then push it back in. And then she'll hover by that metal table and examine the tools and inwardly reflect that these things seem like they should be in Jay's room.
You can hear stomp, 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 feet coming back down the stairs. And then just on the other side of that curtain, the yellow light shining. You can't quite make out who, but it's a figure just on the other side of the curtain in the basement beyond. I need you to make me a roll for cool.
Okay. Take a look. So my cool is a 3. We're at -1, so I will be rolling 2 dice. Windows update. No, it's not the time.
No, it's not the time. You just need a 4 on this one.
Oh,
A 6
You
and a
have
5.
control. You have control over the narrative. We're not going to play out this full scene, but tell me what happens.
Okay, so I think she calls out, assuming it's Mr. Toothaker, and asks when he was a dentist and trying to make polite small talk. I think she's been in the chair maybe once before, but when she was much younger, when she was a child first brought to the house. And I think she starts rattling about that. And then she looks back at the chair and gets distracted by something. And then when she turns back, she can hear someone coming down the stairs again, and that's Mr. Toothaker. And she has a weird, didn't we just do this moment?
Yeah, it's a little deja vu, but after hanging on the other side, just a shape on the other side of the curtain, he pulls it open and smiles a small smile, and he's got 2 glasses of water, one for you and one for him. And he says, you just relax there. This shouldn't take too long at all. I'm not going to do anything too much to you. Just get you looking nice for tonight. And he sets the glasses of water down.
And I don't think Gigi says too much from that point, kind of confused by what happened and listening to the washer, making sure it is still stably rotating because her precious top is in there. And she'll hop up onto the seat and kind of lay back and not make a fuss.
And that's where we'll cut away from this scene. I want to go back to Ren, who's everyone else is sort of gathering up in Jacob's room, which I feel like Jacob's room has become like the hangout place or one of the hangout places for the kids.
oh yeah.
But Ren, in the meantime, what do we find Ren doing after the last time we saw her?
So she's finishing up with Gigi's birthday card. It's like beautiful. Like it's a 14-year-old's masterpiece, right? Like it's great. But I think that she'll hear the other kids like laughing and like she'll hear the music and she knows like the hallways, like she's been here so long that like she knows if they're trying to keep it down, but she can still hear them. So I think that in an effort to like be a kid, she'll go and see if she can hang out in Jacob's room and like act normal with the older kids.
As you exit your room to go down the hall to Jacob's room, you'll see Jay there about to knock, like he's just stepped up to the same door that you're heading towards. And as we begin the scene, or continue the scene, I want to just introduce a new truth for me, Lydia. What's something new about the following scene? What's something true?
Ren is like terrified of going into Jacob's room because she like is so nervous around like them when they get together because they're so like much cooler than her, and she doesn't know how to act, and she also doesn't have her like safety net of Gigi here with her, so she's like on the verge of probably throwing up. Like she's so nervous.
And I think Jay probably, what I'll say about the adding to this truth is that Jay notices outwardly how nervous she looks. She actually looks like she's about to puke for a moment. As you're just about to knock on the door, Jay, you see her coming up too.
Oh, and she's holding the birthday card because she wants to have everyone sign it. That's like her excuse for going in there.
Jay, look, before I see he's about to knock. Ren, are you okay?
Yeah, I just got really warm in me and Gigi's room. It just got really warm in there, so I just came to get some fresh air. I made this card for Gigi. Do you want to sign it for her party tonight?
Of course. Give me one moment here. I need to have a chat with Jacob, most likely.
Oh, okay. Well, I want them to sign the card too, so maybe I can come in with you.
Of course. And
okay, can
Jay
you knock?
will. Jay's right about to knock. He's like, "Of course," and he knocks. And he'll knock on the door.
I will call out from in the room. Who is it?
It's Jay and Ren.
And
What's the
and
password?
music just continues to turn up slightly. Can't. Hello? What did you say? Turning it
Jay's not gonna reply. He's well aware of this game, and he's not gonna play it. He's just gonna politely knock again.
Would you just go answer it?
I got it. Y'all hang out. I'll go answer the door. We support our local police.
Okay, I am not sure why.
Do you have a welcome
Are
gift?
you all smoking in here?
No.
The smoke it just pours out of the door because all three of them have been smoking.
No, because like we've got the window open and that fixes everything because that's how
Yeah.
physics works. Like,
Yeah, it fixes everything.
No,
like,
we have
I've
the
got like
Jay.
one can. I've got one can of Axe deodorant, and with that, I am invisible. Like it's the perfect.
The axe fixes everything. You can just douse everything in axe. Can't smell anything else. Jay will say, "You know you shouldn't smoke. It's bad for your lungs and everyone else. And Ren is out here. I'd rather you weren't." Well, no, so he wouldn't say this to. He wouldn't say this part to Meryl. Sorry. And he looks at Jacob. I think if the door's open, like. I would rather, as he's saying this, you weren't a bad influence on her.
Well, I'm not.
But she would like you all to sign her card.
I made a card for Gigi for her birthday. Do
Ah.
you want to sign it?
Yes. I'm not sure what you're implying by this whole smoking thing, but y'all better get in here because it's dangerous out in the hall.
Okay.
What? You look
Jay will
confused. Come in and
well,
sit down. Come sit.
Jay is
Do you wanna
worried.
hide?
Jay does not want his clothes to smell like smoke, although he may think it's already too late.
Ren can come in.
Oh.
Hey,
He's going
Ren,
to
come
step
in.
Okay.
As soon as Ren steps a foot in the door, I throw my cigarette out the window.
Roll me a smarts check, Staley.
Oh.
Taking one
Please
away
don't
from
set a
your
forest fire.
I was just gonna say taking one away only leaves me with one. Or no. Oh, I get 3. Okay. Apparently I'm real smart.
All right. So as you toss out the window, and for a moment you are able to look through that open window to the sunny day beyond, you get to choose what you see outside, if anything.
I think in that moment, Staley looks and throws it, and then feels really bad about throwing it because there's a cute little squirrel that's on like perched, kind of running along the roof, and she throws it in that general direction, and then she's just like, oh crap, oh, okay, and then she'll beyond that in the yard. Is this facing the backyard or the front yard?
So this is facing the. That's a good question. I want to say it's probably facing the front yard.
Okay. She'll kind of pause for a moment and just kind of look, because way beyond she can see like the lighthouse, and since it's a clear day, she'll just kind of like pause for a second, look at the lighthouse, and just kind of like get lost, and then be like, okay, and then look back in the room and kind of avert her attention back to what's going on.
Yeah, and the lighthouse to the north there is pretty visible. It's pretty close, you know, and it's a tall structure. There's not a lot of other tall structures, and you're up above most of the trees in this little area between you and the lighthouse. You just make out just a sliver of blue. It's not like you can see the waves crashing, but just what you know is the ocean beyond the lighthouse. And the cigarette flies out the window, and nothing else happens. You're all together. You can hear the tick, tick, tick of the clock outside still, though.
Hi, Jacob. Hi, Staley. Hi, Meryl.
Oh, hey.
You ran.
You said you had a card?
Yeah, I made Gigi a card. Do you want to sign it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. I wrote
Try
some
not
of her
to write
favorite
my
song
name.
lyrics in it.
Try not to write my own name. They can put the evil on you that way.
It's a
I'm just messing with
birthday
you.
card, Meryl.
I know it's a birthday card. You guys are no fun at all. Here, hand it over here.
Okay. I give him a
Super
card, and I just
Superstition
like a little
is
marker with it.
an interesting quality of yours, Meryl.
Say what, man?
So,
Jay said, superstition is an interesting quality of yours, Meryl.
Oh, yes. Very superstitious. It runs in the family.
Interesting. Now, sorry, someone else wanted to say something.
I was gonna look over to Meryl at that point. Are you still holding or have the bag, that weird Spencer's bag with something in it?
Yeah, I'm like standing there holding it like a jerk. This is what I got her.
So, did anybody else give Gigi anything, or was it just you, Meryl?
Well, she's a dear
of course
family
I got
friend.
Shitting.
Of course, I got her a gift. Did you not all? I mean, Ren has made her a card. Did the rest of you not get her a gift?
Oh, what did you get her? Was it some kind of like creepy bug thing that you nailed to her wall?
No. I would
So,
totally
what did
not
you get?
get her something. I got her a record.
That's amazing. Maybe if she goes back in time to when records were popular, she could listen to it. That'd be great.
Yeah, the phonograph record.
Records are the superior process. Superior. I am blanking on the word. The word I wanted to say.
Audio file.
Superior method of replaying music, Jacob,
So,
rather than
you
your.
guys use in your room?
Yeah, it's either him or Mrs. Toothaker because, you know, they have so much in common.
I'm sure Miss Toothaker wouldn't mind Gigi borrowing her record player.
This is amazing. I'm loving this.
What did you get her, Meryl?
It's about
Apparently
50 bucks
chocolate
in.
pigs.
No, that's what you got. It's about 50 bucks in gross bucks, and then like half off at the meat market, good anytime after midnight, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I had. You know, I've been out all day, so it's a last minute thing.
So everybody knows too. What are gross bucks and what are they good for?
His parents, Gross family, owns the chain of grocery stores all over the upper Northeast, and they have a special currency, you know, like tickets that you pull, you know, and you can spend them like money at the grocery store. And Merrill gets a lot of free stuff. And his parents died 6 months ago, and the whole estate is locked up in probate, and they're examining the will, et cetera, et cetera. So the only real freebies that Merrill gets at this point is a stop on the snack truck and all the gross bucks he can carry out of the flagship store here on Pretty Marsh Harbor.
Perfect. So yeah, that's his gift. Did anybody else get Gigi a gift that hasn't shared their gift yet? No. Is everybody going to sign Birdie's card, Ren's card?
I sign it, and I sign the crease, and it says "Cows go moo, ducks go quack. Happy birthday! I signed your crack. Love Stan."
I wasn't muted. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. Now I have to know. Now I have to know how everybody signs. So let's just go around the circle.
Damn it.
Jacob, do you sign? And if so, how and what? So somebody else can chime in too.
Yeah, like Jacob straight up hands the card off. He looks and he's like, "Oh, we're doing funny stuff. Oh, I wasn't prepared for this," and just palms it off to someone else, unashamedly.
Jay will take it and take out the pen that he always keeps on himself, and he will sign it. Best birthday wishes, Jay Hopkins, in very well, just absolutely perfect cursive that his third grade teacher told him he would use for the rest of his life, and he has continued to use it. Unlike this guy here. And then pass it back to Jacob and say, "You really should sign Gigi's birthday card. I think it would mean a lot to her."
I take it and I sigh and like I have no idea what to write, so like Jacob just writes the first thing that comes to his mind, which for some reason is "Happy birthday, Gigi. You know, if you were Jesus, today would be Christmas and we'd all get presents. But you're not, and I didn't get you anything."
Oh man,
That's
kids
it.
are
That's it.
kids are the worst. All right.
You're not, are you?
Who else?
Speaking of Jesus, Meryl grabs it and he has an incredible signature. It's gorgeous. It's like a book plate on the inside of like a signed novel, big flourishy G, and you know, it's stylized and perfect, and in very delicate sketch along the bottom, he writes, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." And then a hyphen in his name, M. Gross.
And has Ren already signed?
Ren more than signed it. In addition to the song lyrics, it's like LYLAS and like all of our inside jokes from our room growing up. And like, I also put a little paw print for the cat that sleeps in our room.
Oh, is there for the song lyrics? Is there like one song that she really like emphasized? Like one, is there one song that is like their song?
Oh man, probably. And I'll tell you what it is later.
Okay. So you pass the card around and you all sign, and you've all shared your gifts, those of you who are getting them. And then there's a creak at the door. The door swings open, and standing there in the doorway, no longer in her nightgown, but it looks like a dress with loud collars from like the 1960s, is Miss Toothaker, just standing there in the door, and the smoke comes out. And so is anybody currently still smoking as she steps in?
No. Throw it out. Throw it out the window.
Yeah, can we like roll to like flick it out the window?
Yes, absolutely. You can roll quickness because it's Meryl and Jacob who are still smoking, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Roll me. And Meryl, I'm going to apply the -1 dice that I have for you here. So subtract 1 from your quickness in addition to the 1. Yep.
So
Yep.
2 or 3?
What's your normal quickness? Your base?
4.
4. So now it's 2. You have 2 dice for this roll.
4.
So Jacob, you're able to really quickly, you hear the door cracking, and it's just like your gut instinct. And Meryl, you go to follow to flick it out through the window. But 3 is not good enough to actually control the result. So I think what happens is instead of flicking it on the window, you accidentally flick it right onto like Birdie's shirt. Like it just goes off to the side, and like Birdie, he flicks the cigarette burning still like right onto your shirt as the door swings open and Miss Toothaker is there.
Do I notice? Can I not notice?
Yeah, you don't have to notice. I would say that Birdie probably notices that a cigarette just like fell onto her shirt and it's like stuck there. I don't know if that's a common occurrence for her. Miss Toothaker like sniffs around for a moment and kind of gives a long stare into the room, and
Mrs.
doesn't say
Toothaker.
anything.
Can I interest you in Mrs. Toothaker, can I interest you in a honey bun, or we got this frosted and unfrosted honey bun. So whoever would have an unfrosted honey bun, I don't know. Don't even know what to do with you. Snowballs. We got the zebra. We got the zebra cakes. Maybe you're looking for something with some chocolate. Pick your poison.
You start rattling things off to her, but as soon as you say Mrs. Toothache, she steps into the room towards you. Thump, 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 thump. You can hear her breathing heavy through her nose, like just... It's mother or mum to you, dearie. And she goes to snatch your arm.
My mother is dead, dearie. Let go of me.
Roll me a cool check. And you only have -1 on this roll.
Yeah, well, I have a 1. So this is as cool as he gets right here.
This is as cool as Meryl gets.
Yeah, you got a 2.
So that's not good enough. So what happens is she doesn't let go. She doesn't hurt, but she's got a firm grip on your arm. She says, "Of course, I'm sorry about your mother, dear. But you see, I need some help outside, getting the party ready. And I think you would be perfect to help." And you can tell from the way that she's holding onto your elbow, she's not really giving you a choice unless you were to escalate the situation.
Well, you know, Miss Toothaker, I'm an introvert, and yet I love gatherings. You know, we're all walking contradictions that way. You go. I'm following you. Where are we going?
Mother Toothaker, real quick. Sorry, I hate to do this, but Meryl was actually helping me with something. It's for Gigi's birthday. We're all helping. We're making a card, you see, and it's not finished yet. You can see like it needs a lot of work still done to it. So like, can he come down in a minute? Because we still got to sign it and stuff.
Roll me empathy, Jacob. Empathy.
Great. If your cool was crap, my empathy is nothing.
I don't break eye contact with Mother Toothaker.
And she doesn't break eye contact with Meryl either.
Sweet.
It's a 1.
Yeah, she just out of the corner of her mouth, she doesn't even look at you, Jacob. And she just kind of leans a little bit closer to Meryl and says, "Why don't you give Mom a kiss? Just on the cheek there, dear. I don't want any bad feelings between us." She turns her cheek towards you.
I like look over my shoulder at all of you, like shoot you all a glance, and then do it. All right. You love that.
Her skin's wetter and more oily than it should be. The wrinkles are, you can feel them on your lips. Just the folds there. And
you know, I can't stay mad at you.
She just kind of lets out a laugh afterwards and says, "See, nothing a good kiss can't fix. Come on, dear, let's go set up for the party. Gigi's probably very excited." And
I'll be right down with the ice soon.
Oh, thank you. I'd forgotten all about the ice. And she thump leaves and waits outside in the hall for Meryl to follow.
I wink at all of you, but you probably can't tell. And with a flourish, grab Gigi's present and close the door behind me.
Perfect. Does anybody? So he leaves, and we're gonna stay in the room here for a moment.
Wait, Jay, she asked you to get ice too?
Clearly, she has forgotten multiple times that she's asked people to ask ice. Well, who else did she ask?
I think it was just us, but still. She seems to be forgetting a lot of things lately.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of getting on, you know?
She's also clearly forgotten what in tune sounds like. And this is more sort of muttered under his breath than anything else, but I think it's just loud enough for other people to hear. By the way, Jacob, could you please turn down your music? I can feel it.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
In my room.
You can feel it? I feel it too. It's good that you feel it. It's good that you finally got some taste.
Yes, I must say, you did recover rather quickly from your loss earlier this year.
Excuse me?
Staley is shooting him daggers.
Excuse me? The fuck did you just say?
Well, you spent days complaining about how you lost all your music earlier this year.
I straight up grab him.
how does how does Ren react to this?
Ren backs up like into the corner and like tries to find like Staley, like just she gets the fuck out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as this is happening, I think Staley would try and move and grab Ren's shoulders and kind of like be like, okay, I think it's time to go. We all signed the card. Okay. And then like tries to usher her out.
For the card too.
Yeah.
You grab the card, and the two of you bolt as this altercation starts.
I'd say in the room, but I'm leading her out. I want to stay.
I got it. Perfect. And is Birdie okay to like bolt as soon as she's out of the room?
No, she's gonna like stand in the doorway, like kind of wide-eyed, like worried, and like she doesn't want to get in trouble. She doesn't want them to get in trouble. Like she doesn't know what to do.
Perfect. So here's how something like this works. The person who acts first gets to make a roll, and then the other person gets to make a roll. And just like with normal, if you succeed on your roll, you get to narratively describe what happens in the next moment. Otherwise, I do. So I'm going to call it a grit roll from Jacob as you launch yourself to grab him to begin this.
Now,
remember, we ticked over to the new hour, which means that you now subtract 2 dice from your pool.
Now, Tommy, I'm not saying you should be super afraid, but like you should be super afraid because I am. Yeah, no, I've never been that. I have a 1 in this. So this is like a lot of talk. Yeah, it's a lot of talk.
Yeah, so he throws himself. This is the truth. With a 2, which is not a success, it has to be 4 or higher. He throws himself at you, Tommy, and he trips as he's coming towards you, and he stumbles forward. He actually smacks his head up against the desk next to the bed. Maybe he pops back up a moment later, but you can already feel like the welt, Jacob.
Like instantly. Like feeling that, is there any blood at all?
Yeah, I'll say that there's just a little bit of blood. You don't know how bad it is, but like when you put your finger there, there's blood on your fingers, just a bit. Before you react, though, I want to know, how does Jay react to this?
Jay wasn't gonna move. Jay was gonna let whatever pit Jacob was gonna dig himself into happen. And clearly the pit he dug himself into was tripping over something. And Jay's just like, you should be more careful, Jacob. Rash action tends to lead to unfortunate circumstances.
I take a moment to wipe the blood slightly and yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I'll see
Are you
later.
okay?
And I walk out.
Well,
I think. Go on.
Oh, I was just say, Daly, I think we should go get that ice then.
On second thought, why don't you just go get the ice and I'll play damage control up here. I think I've got it taken care of. Thanks. Ice isn't gonna get itself, Jay.
Of course not. I don't want to stay in this room any longer. I'm going to have to wash my clothes already as it is. Jay will walk out. Ren, I wouldn't recommend staying around unless you wish to, if you like your lungs, as they are.
I want to spotlight, or zoom in right now on Ren, who's just watched this entire altercation and watched Jacob storm out and Jay storm out. What's Ren doing or thinking right now?
Ren is grappling with who to be mad at because Jay said something like really awful towards Jacob, but you should never react in violence to anybody. And she's just like, all these people I'm living with, are they evil? Like, what do I do?
I think that's where we, like, with her, it's sort of in the hall there, and Staley inside next to her, and everybody else spreading out, going out. Want to cut back momentarily before we move to the birthday party. And Charlie, I need you to make me one more cool check. And I want to see how well your checkup goes.
Of course you do. I mean, it couldn't conveniently be grit, right, Don? That'd be real cool.
Yeah, you could convince it. Her ability to, like, basically just hunker down and deal with it.
Yeah, just deal with it. Like, it's something she doesn't particularly want to do, but that's like most of Gigi's life, and she just gets on with it most of the time. And it's just like, you know, it's a grin and bear it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So go ahead and roll me grit, but subtract 2 from your dice pool.
Okay, so my grit dice pool is technically a 1 to start with, but it's my push 1. So I would like to give in to advice.
Okay. So I want to play with this mechanic. Usually we haven't introduced the spotlight mechanic yet, but usually you give into advice after you've received the spotlight from another player. But I want to see what vice you want to give into. So here's how this works for folks who are watching. When you give into a vice, which you can do once per session, you roll the highlighted trait, and everybody's character sheets have a different highlighted trait. So I guess for Gigi's, it's grit. And she gets to roll with 5 dice instead of with however many she normally has, but she has to describe how she gives into one of her character sheet's vices. So go ahead and go for it and tell me what you're doing, Charlie.
Okay, so one of her vices is that she's incredibly naive, and she's going to give in to this naivety by, despite Mr. Toothaker's kind of hands being in her mouth and working, she's going to begin telling him things, and she's going to reveal the kind of people that she wishes would be at the party. And I think she'll make an offhanded comment about Jacob being in a mood, and that she hopes he's there and he's not off smoking behind the house somewhere, and then realize that's like kind of a mistake. But in her naivety, like, not really notice it was a big mistake. So she's going to get Jacob in trouble with her naivety while he's doing whatever he's doing. Does that sound fair?
I love that, yeah. So go ahead and roll me 5d6. And just so you know, for reasons that you don't know, this is a desperate situation. And when a situation is desperate, Charlie, you have to roll a 5 or higher on one of the dice to succeed instead of a 4 or higher.
Okay. I got a 4, a 5, and a 6. So.
All right.
Got 5 and
so
a 6.
you get to describe what results of her sharing this information, what results from the end of her getting unlicensed cleaning from a dentist who has never officially practiced.
I think she has a very uncomfortable time, which, you know, her teeth are going to be slightly sensitive afterwards, where he's been a little bit too harsh, perhaps, a little bit heavy-handed. But for the most part, I think he was careful, so he hasn't, like, damaged her mouth in any way. I think Mr. Toothaker paid close attention to what she said, and maybe promised to try and see if, you know, other people are gonna come. But as he'd already said, it's in Mrs. Toothaker's court, who's at the party. But he kind of makes a sound about the smoking and comments that it's bad for teeth, and that maybe the rest of the house need to check up as well. And so, kind of inadvertently, Gigi has landed everyone in the dentist's chair, Mr. Toothaker's head.
And Charlie has meta everyone into the dentist chair at some point. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. At the end of the scene, we'll say that Jacob, you come down just into the basement, just as Mr. Toothaker closes the curtain behind him. You can see somebody's behind that plastic curtain, still on the other side with a light bulb that's hanging overhead, just kind of swinging a little bit. And he's got just a little bit of blood on his gloves, and he pulls the gloves off one at a time and just sort of folds them up in his hands and says, yeah, Jacob, I do something for you there.
I come down and, like, on the way, I've taken my nail and made that cut just a little worse, and I come in and I say, I'm really sorry to bother you, Mr. Toothaker, but Jay and me got in a fight, and he hit me.
Wow. Well, why would Jay do that? He's such a well-behaved boy.
I know, and it came out of nowhere. Like, he came up and he said my music was a little loud, and I tried to, say that, I'd turn it down, but we were hanging out. It was like the pre-party, and oh, hey, Gigi. Well,
Hey.
it's Gigi's birthday. We were trying to, like, have fun and stuff, and then he came in, and I don't know, he just lost his temper. He's always like that. I think he's very different in front of you guys than he is around the rest of us.
He is stepping closer to you as you're going on, just a little closer, reaches up a hand, taking his gloves in his other hand to kind of grab at your chin. Let me see there, boy. Just turn your chin up a little. Let me take a look. Yep, you're gonna be all right. It's not too bad there, Jacob. Jacob, roll me. I'll let you choose. It's either cool or it's smarts.
I'd say cool. Definitely cool. It's, he's trying to... This is something that he feels very little remorse for. He's like, worked this out on the way down here. He's made it look worse. He knows exactly how to do this. That's a fight.
All right, that's good enough. So you get to describe how he reacts to this news, if he believes you. What's one truth as he's staring at you?
I will say it is probably known a little bit that, like, this probably isn't the first complaint between the two of them. And so it's known that there's a little bit of rivalry. So I imagine, like, to be fair, Mr. Toothaker would know that I can be a bit of a troublemaker at times. But I think, this is going to have to lead to a conversation between the three of us sat down in his office. Me and Jay, and we're going to have like that awful meeting where both are pulled in and sat down and given a good talking to, and I will play the victim 100%.
Perfect. So he does buy what you're saying, and he kind of leans a little bit closer as he's looking at you, and he wipes a little bit of blood off your forehead, and he says, well, it's Gigi's birthday now, so I'm not going to make a big fuss about this tonight at the party. I'll deal with
of course.
Jay. Yeah, shush now. Shush now, boy. Jay's not the only one who's been naughty, from my understanding. I'll deal with it tomorrow. You understand?
Yeah, of course. I should go get ready for the birthday party. I'm really excited, Gigi.
Jacob, Well, why don't you give me a kiss there on the cheek before you go? Just to say everything's okay between you and I.
Can I interrupt,
I-
Don?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're in the scene.
Please.
So I think Gigi has like pulled those little cotton wool balls that they put in your mouth, and like she pulled them out and she's kind of discreted them out the way, and she's looking concerned at like Jacob's injury. And Mr. Toothaker, shouldn't we patch up his face first?
Roll me an empathy check.
Let me see. Ooh, okay. We're at -2 dice, Don.
We're at -2 currently, yes.
Okay. Let me see. So I roll 2 dice. I got 1 4.
That's good enough. So what's the truth here?
I think the truth is that he sees Gigi as panicked and decides to placate that first before resolving whatever he feels he needs to resolve with Jacob.
Yeah. So he just sort of leans back from Jacob and smiles down after Gigi interrupts and says, yep, you're right. We should get going. Birthday party soon. And he gives Jacob a good pat on the shoulder, a strong pat on the shoulder. Says, you two get ready for the party tonight. It should be a fun one. And I should go get cleaned up too. Wipes his hands together and smears a little bit of blood between the two hands and starts off.
Real quick, Mr. Toothaker, do we have enough time? Like, could I run into town and grab something, anything for the party? Do you need anything?
Maybe some ice. I think we're probably going to need some ice for the party.
I'll go get some ice from town then. Like one of the big bags?
Just go to the kitchen upstairs, Jacob. We have ice in the house.
I could do a going to town. I was going to get a new lip gloss. And she's looking at Jacob like, you better have a good reason for wanting to go to town.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we could go together, and I'll get like one
We
of those
could get
big
one of
party
the
bags.
the big bags from Gross's.
Yeah.
Gonna make it back in time for the party because Miss Toothaker would be very unhappy if you.
I'll take my skateboard. It'll be super quick.
I promise.
Gigi, you gonna take your skateboard too?
Oh, I didn't have a skateboard. I could run, I guess.
Yeah, Gigi's fast.
I promise. We'll be back in time.
All right,
Trust
all
me,
right.
Mr. Toothaker.
I do. Just don't be late for your own party, all right? Miss Toothaker worked very hard on your present. You know how she gets, especially these days.
I was thinking maybe I could pick her up some flowers as a thank you.
Just don't be late. That's all I ask. All right?
Okay. And she hops out of the chair, ready to not be in the room anymore. And she listens out. Does it sound like the washing machine as soon as it cycle?
Yeah, we'll say at this point it stopped rattling. Like the timing of it was it stopped rattling, and half a second later he pulled his hand out of your mouth and said, "Oh, we're done."
Okay, so she'll kind of hurry. She'll grab everything and just throw it into the dryer. She probably leaves stuff behind because that's what happens when you're not paying attention. But she makes sure that top goes in that dryer.
Perfect. And for his part, while you're doing that, and two of you have been left alone, he just heads off and starts whistling and walks up the stairs. And he sounds merry. He doesn't whistle a lot, so he sounds like in a particularly good mood. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call like a montage scene, and we're going to play out the birthday party as a montage, which means that each of you gets to introduce one truth about something that happens at the birthday party. I'll introduce a truth in turn, and then we will resolve that scene and move to what'll probably be the end of our session tonight. So time goes by. You all go off and do what you want to do. So as we introduce each of you, let us know how you spent the rest of your day and what's one truth about the birthday party. And let's start with Jay.
Oh, okay. One truth about the birthday party. Why do we have so much ice? There's just so much ice there. Oh man. Okay, so I remember we were talking about how they haven't really gone shopping lately for food. There is the local, like the main course is the local Pretty Harbor specialty of pickled crab on a baked potato. Yep, that's the main course.
That's the truth. So this
That's
is
the
this is
truth.
the thing. This is the thing we'll share. This is something that came out in our session 0. At the grocery store, the Gross grocery store, most people just call it Gross. They sell tourists the local special for lunch every single day, and it is pickled crab on a baked potato. That is the local special. It is gross, and tourists do that thing where they try it and eat it and just kind of grit their teeth through it, like, yeah, that's great. Glad we did this. But the locals, they know, they're in on the joke, right? Very few of the locals, maybe some of the older folks, actually enjoy pickled crab on a baked potato. And that is what is for dinner tonight. And the truth I will add to that is that all of the ice was for keeping cold, so they didn't melt fried Twinkies, which are the dessert. And they packed them in ice. Let's go to Travis. Travis, what is one truth about this birthday party? You can tell me.
That is
You can tell me.
Okay, couple things. Meryl makes his way to go give Gigi her gift. Is it the right time for that?
Yeah. If you want to play that out, we can play that out, and you can play out giving Gigi her gift. And tell me the situation too. Like, when does he give it?
Well, these horrifying potatoes are served. As he takes a bite out of a Twix bar he has hidden in his sleeve, he goes under his breath, "I'm not going near those goddamn things." And those things could take up paint. They're absolutely foul, and nothing but bad memories of bumming around his parents' store. So he sidesteps that table and makes his way up to Gigi. He's like, "Elizabeth, table for one, please. Can I sit by the window?"
Meryl, we're outside.
I know. I'm just funning you, hon. Listen, I got you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
And in Gigi's hand is one of those paper plates with a baked potato covered in the crab.
You don't have to eat that if you don't want to, Nobody's going to force you to eat that thing.
I kind of like it. Weren't you born on Seawall? Doesn't everyone pretty much like crab on a potato?
I was born here, but they moved me the other side as soon as they made money. So this is $50 in gross bucks, obviously good, for whatever you need there. And then this is some pre-steak fingers, Monday through Thursday. I got 2 of those, and I threw in some honey buns. And this is a Spencer's bag that I found on the floor next to Jacob's bed, and you could use that as a liner for your trash can in your bathroom if you wanted to. So it's a very practical. This gift has a lot of utility.
Thanks. No, it's really great. Gross are doing no t-shirts to the end of the season. I can get one of those.
You could, but I'm sure I can get you a t-shirt. Don't waste the bucks on a t-shirt. I'll get you a hat, or I'll get you the new shirt that, if you want. Okay, yeah, I'll get you one. Listen, something I just wanted to tell you, and to put a pin in this for the audience here. Everybody would probably know, though. Gigi would probably be mostly where she waited on my parents at the. Where are you, the waitress? Marinus.
The Mariner.
The Mariner.
The Mariner. And they came in all the time, and you were a regular waitress, and so he's just like, look, you were always. Oh, and by the way, they're dead, and they died on their yacht 6 months ago, and the whole town basically knows it. Basically, listen, Liz, you were always good to my folks, right? Those were good evenings. And I just want to let you know, if you ever, I got a bunch of stuff in the back here. It's just what I threw together. But look, if you ever needed anything, you can tell me. Like whatever it is. You let me know if I can help you.
Thanks. She says in the exact same tone as she had when presented with the bag of crap that she didn't know what to do with. But then she kind of looks kind of more closely at Merrill and asks about his eye, because I think maybe she knew he was having an appointment in the county. So how did it, is everything okay, Merrill?
Oh, with this? The dogs are barking. No,
I guess the cats are in the garbage again. They go crazy.
I know. I hate these dogs that live here. No, they're not gonna be able to save it. I'm down to one. They told me today it's there's too much trauma. It hit me just right there on my temple. Basically, make it permanent. So.
Fuck. That really sucks, Merle. But I mean, it's not like you're dying or anything. You're kind of acting weird.
Sure, well, cosmically we're all dying, but no, in this moment, no, I'm not.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, happy. Hey, it's your special day, right? Don't let me and my crap, slow you down.
It's that moment. I'm going to introduce the other truth here, and this is the moment where Miss Toothaker presents her present to Gigi. It's a small box. It's wrapped immaculately with a bow that's tied like 3 times. It's almost like 3 bows tall. It's just kind of like floofing over on the side. Blue wrapping paper with gold bands and gold ribbon. And she just kind of cuts in this moment. She says, there you are, dearie. Happy birthday. Oh, I think you're going to love this. She hands it to you.
And Gigi takes it and she says thank you. And before she's even looked at it or anything else, she kind of offers Mrs. Toothaker like a hug. It's not her first birthday with Mrs. Toothaker.
And you can feel like Miss Toothaker is, at this point in the evening, it's probably 58 degrees. It's just kind of cool, not breezy, just cool, but not cold. But despite that, with just her dress and her little shoulder shawl on over it, she is sweaty. She's really, really sweaty when you go to hug her. And you can feel like she just kind of leans over and steals a kiss on the cheek real quick. She kisses you on the cheek real quick. She says, are you going to open it now or later, dearie?
Do you want me to open it now? I don't mind.
It's your birthday, so it's up to you.
Sure, let's open it now. And she'll be steering Mrs. Toothaker towards the refreshments table to try and get this woman like a cold drink, because she's kind of concerned by the sweaty clabbiness.
She goes along with it.
when they get there, she'll get the drink, she'll take a sip of her own and give one to Ma. And then she'll kind of turn her attention to the gift, and she'll very carefully kind of peel away that ribbon and try and do it so she doesn't rip the wrapping paper.
And you're able to do so. You're able to get it open if you're careful. There's just a little box on the inside, just with like a lid that you can open up. Roll me a cool check.
Okay. My cool is normally 3, so 1.
So 1 right now.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a 2 on the dice.
So I get to choose the present.
You do.
You open the box, and somehow you know what it is, probably because you've gotten similar gifts, but this is going beyond even for Miss Toothaker. Inside is a doll, and she makes you dolls every year for your birthday. Most of your presents that she gives you are dolls that she makes, handcrafted from cloth or whatever she can find around the house, or maybe buy from one of the antique stores in town. But this doll is made entirely of hair, except for some arms that are little pieces of branches or something wooden that she's tied into it to kind of give it a little more structure. Something small that looks like maybe it's stone, or maybe like a piece of a vegetable or something that's just tied in for eyes. And it's sticky to the hand. It has that same sort of stickiness that her body has. And as you're opening the box, you can feel her breath over your shoulder. She says, I've been collecting it all year, dearie. It's yours. It's you. I made you. Do you like it?
It's real different from last year's. Did you watch a craft tutorial on YouTube or something?
No, the idea just sort of came to me after your last haircut. I just saw it there on the floor, and I thought, well, that's a waste. And now I know that you like it.
And she's struggling. Gigi's very good at putting up a front, at pretending when things are not okay, but she is struggling, and she carefully puts the doll back in the box and like wipes her hand on her jeans, trying to be as discreet as possible. It's a bit sticky. Did it get damp or something?
Oh, it's probably just the weather, dearie. We'll blow it out with a blow dryer and it'll dry up, and we can put it right on your desk. Where you keep the others, yes.
Yeah. We should put it in the airing closet. It's dry in there. Or maybe in some rice. And she's like, where can I bury this thing where I never have to see it again?
And she sort of giggles at that. It's a much younger sound than the sound that she normally makes. It makes her sound like a girl again, just for a moment. And she just sort of licks her lips real quickly. It's just a quick thing. And then she says, well, I get back to your party, dearie. Don't mind me. I'm going to sit down and rest a while. And that is the end of that truth. Let's go to Ray. Ray, what is one truth about the birthday party?
While trying to get even more ice to help out after she realizes what it's for and that there's not enough ice, I imagine her like getting the ice, putting it down, and then picking up a glass to put some ice in to get a drink, and turning around, and Mr. Toothaker is like standing extremely close, and I end up dropping the glass and it shatters. So I'm like in this weird, awkward encounter with like this drop glass and Mr. Toothaker.
And where are you standing when this happens? Are you inside, like
right by where the like right by where like the Twinkies would be set up with the ice? Because I was like, oh, okay, there's extra ice. I'll just get some for a drink, and then turn around to get a drink and drop it and shatter because he's like extremely close.
And the truth that I will add to this is that when he's there, he has a cardboard box that he's holding in both hands. It's got like it looks like a Christmas bow, like one where you rip off the sticker and just right on top of a gift, just stuck to the top of a cardboard box with a few holes poked into the box, and it's shaking a little bit as he's holding it. And he looks down at the glass that shatters and back up at you, and there's a flash of anger in his eyes for a moment. He says, you really should be careful there, Staley. Accidents, this is how someone gets hurt.
No, I'm so sorry. I didn't, I was just trying to get a drink and turned around and you're there. I was not prepared for that. I'm really sorry. Why don't I go get the broom? I can sweep it up real quick so that no one steps on it.
I think that's a good idea there, and I couldn't help but notice, did you already give Gigi her present from you?
Yeah, I gave it to her earlier. It was like a one-on-one sort of gift. So she's got it. She's got it. It's good. It's great. She loves it.
Roll me a cool check and subtract 2.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I only get 1. Let's see how this goes.
A 3 is not enough. But my truth here is that he appears to believe you. Oh, well, good then. You're a good sister to Gigi. I'm sure she appreciates it. Be a good girl and get that glass cleaned up.
Yeah, of course. What's in the box? It's moving.
He just winks at you and steps over the glass and towards the door.
Oh, okay. And she'll just go and get the broom and start to sweep all the glass.
Perfect. Let's go on to the next truth. Lydia, what is one truth about the birthday party?
Oh boy. I want to give Gigi her card, but I want to try to take her to the side so I could tell her about what happened with Jacob and Jay.
Absolutely. And we'll say that like the glass shattering and the sort of commotion that it makes temporarily allows you to do so without anybody else really noticing. The two of you kind of sneak off for a moment and have a private.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Gigi. I made you this card. I got everyone to sign it.
Oh my god. And Gigi takes it. It's like the first thing she's gotten all day that's actually nice. Lydia, is it in an envelope or is it just like the card?
No, it's just like it's like scratch paper and like construction paper and like markers. It's like it's not professional. It's just the card.
So I think she takes it and she takes like a good look at the front cover before she opens it. And she kind of laughs as she sees like a little in-joke about one of the cats. And then she opens up the inside and she makes a big show of reading like everything that's in here, knowing that Ren put in effort to this thing. And then she actually reads what's written in here. And I think she snort laughs and like covers her face as she reads what Staley's written down the fold. And then she reads what Jacob had added, and then she just starts giggling, and she can't stop giggling, and her eyes begin to water to the point where she can't read the rest of the card, and she kind of hugs Ren, and just says thank you, but just through utter fits of giggles, unable to stop.
You'll never guess what happened, Gigi, when everyone was signing the card. Do you want to hear about it?
Duh.
So it's hard to even remember what happened, but Jacob and Jay got into a fight, and Jacob tried to hit Jay, and he tripped, and he hit his head on the dresser. It was really scary.
Oh my god, I heard that Jay had hit Jacob. That's what he told Mr. Toothaker.
No. He tried, but he fell.
But when we... Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Staley just helped me get out of the room really fast, and there wasn't a lot of blood or anything.
Were you in there because of the card?
Yeah, and I heard everybody hanging out, and I wanted them to sign the card, and also I just wanted to hang out.
Gonna interject here to add the other truth, which is that Mr. Toothaker comes out at this point with that box with some holes poked in, and it's kind of rattling a little bit, and it's got duct tape over the top, and then just a little pink bow just sitting right on top off to the side, and he plunks it down right between the two of you, and he says, yeah, there you go, Gigi, your present from me. Besides the one I gave you earlier, of course.
And I think she turns and gives him a smile right on cue.
There's that smile.
And then she looks down to the box and over to Ren, kind of conspiratorially. Shall we open it? Everyone's gotten me presents today.
Well, it's your birthday, Gigi.
Hey, you open it. I need to read the rest of this card. She kind of pushes the box like a little bit towards, not in a you take care of this, but in a I'm so excited, there's a lot of things happening and it's all to do with me way.
Okay. Sure. And I'll, I guess, try to rip through the duct tape.
Mm-hmm. Roll me a quickness check. And we have gone down to our final time. The clock has ticked down. Oh,
got a 5.
That is good enough. So you get to describe what is inside the box and why quickness would matter in this instance.
The box is moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's holes poked in it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had to do it quickly because I noticed that all of that was going on and that there was probably something alive inside. And Mr. Toothaker wrapped up the cat that sleeps in mine and Gigi's room and gave it to her for her birthday.
And the cat pops out of the box and hops out and kind of moves, rubbing between your legs and Gigi's legs. And it's been given a little black cat, not a kitten, but we'll say a stunted growth, maybe like the runt of the litter. But he's given it a tag with a name, whereas before it was just a stray. And Ren, what is the name of the cat?
His name is Cullen, like the character from the Twilight books.
Perfect. Let's go then now to our final truth. Josh, what is one truth about the birthday party?
Can it be a thing from just before when me and Gigi ran to town?
Absolutely, yeah.
So straight up, ran to town, asked her to like wait outside, ran into a shop to grab something. I presume like the only place in town to shop for anything is gross. So like he runs in and he grabs some lip gloss. I have no idea, like, doesn't know anything about makeup, but like he feels really shitty that he didn't get Gigi anything. And then she was like, I'll come with you. And he's like, yeah, sure, just hang out outside. So I'm gonna run in and like grab her some lip gloss. But as I'm paying for it, Mr. McCready, can't remember his name,
From the Mr. McGinty?
Mr. McGinty, that's it. Mr. McGinty, who's this creepy guy who lives on the island, his house like backs onto our school. So like his garden shares a fence with the school fields or like playing area. And he's in there. And he's in the process of complaining about something being wrong with the ferry that leads from Sea Marsh to the mainland. Something has happened to the ferry, and because of that, like, either people haven't come back or people haven't left yet that are supposed to have left, because like maybe there's a mechanical fault or something like that. It's like put a delay on a whole bunch of stuff, and he's just ranting to the store owner about it. And while he's doing that, I'm straight up gonna try and steal some lip gloss from for Gigi. Like just
Some flip-flops?
some lip gloss. Some lip gloss.
Oh, lip gloss.
Flip-flops as well. Flip-flops as well.
Yeah, flip-flops and lip gloss. Yeah. Let's say, let's call this a quickness check. And you can do it quickly without getting caught.
So we're at -3 now?
-3, so you get 1 die here. And by the way, this is a desperate situation. It's a 5. Describe what happens.
So as he's hearing all of this go on, he's kind of interested, and he's listening to Mr. McGinty about it and everything. And he will stand there, and Jacob says something that annoys Mr. McGinty. I think it's Mr. McGinty just hates kids. So as he's standing right in front of the lip gloss, sort of tiny little pharmacy section of the shop, he says something, and Mr. McGinty like comes rushing past to leave the store. And as he does so, Jacob like backpedals into the shelf and like knocks a few things over, and like gets out of his way, and then apologizes to the cashier. And it's just like, I'm really sorry, like just this guy. And then as he's picking them up, one of them just slips into the pocket of his hoodie, and he puts them back on the shelf, and just like, this guy. And he heads on out, sort of wondering what could be wrong. So cut back to the party. It's not wrapped in any way, but like that is my present for Gigi.
Perfect. And here's the truth that I will add to this situation. And again, this is before the party. He successfully cons, steals, steps outside, and as soon as he gets out there, old Mr. McGinty is right outside, staring straight back into the door. And you can hear him just sort of say underneath his breath, just mumbling, tuck, 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 tuck. Make me a cool check. This is a desperate situation.
He said duck?
Tuck, 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 tuck. You -3? Oh, it doesn't matter. You didn't do enough.
Yep.
You're frozen in fear for a moment, Jacob, as he just sort of stares at you, past you, through you. Tuck, 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 tuck. And then he opens his mouth and he vomits or throws up or spits up just a stream of blood onto your shirt, onto your neck. And he begins to cough. And he turns and starts walking down the street, up the street, continuing to cough, and every few moments he turns to the side. Talk, talk. Turns to cough.
He threw up blood, did you say? Did I mishear that?
No, you heard it right.
I dump shirt, hoodie, everything, bare chest, just throw everything on the ground. What the fuck? And I leave like my clothes there and run and find Gigi.
And that's where we will end our first session of the Haunting at Seawall Orphanage. Happy birthday!
Yay!
Yay. All right, so yeah, this is how it'll go when the lights go out and the clock runs out. You don't want to be the first person to fail. Something happens, it's a bad thing. Consequences may be immediate, or they may take a while to manifest. We can say that the rest of the birthday party is fairly uneventful. We will. I think I've just decided that we'll start our next session, probably later that night, same night. I think that'll be fun. But we got to introduce all the characters. I love the characters. They're so much fun. We got to play with some of the mechanics. We'll introduce more mechanics next week too. And maybe we'll get to explore a little bit more of the town either next week or the week after. It really just depends on where you all take the story. That's the great thing about truths, is if your truth is I go to the grocery store, or I go to the lighthouse, or I go to the park or the beach, wherever, then that's what happens. So thank you all very much for watching today. Happy Valentine's Day to all the viewers and all my friends who played with me. Let's do our thing, I guess. I'm going to give it over to Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
All right. Thank you, Don, so much for playing today, GMing today, and for agreeing to make a game with me about 6 months ago when I DM'd you, like, I really want you on the channel and I want you to do something horrible. So, quota filled. Is there anything you'd like to plug, Don, before I go around the cast and do outros?
Oh yeah, sure. So I'm Donathan Fry on Twitter. I write games. I work with some awesome publishers, Modifius and Peterson Games, and I publish on DM's Guild and some other places. And I run a lot of games too, mostly D&D. This is totally different, and that's why I'm so excited about it, is because we can really explore improv storytelling and really collaborative storytelling in this game. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, let's see. Tuesday, I just launched another series. It's called Rise of the Veiled Alliance. It is D&D 5th edition, but it's set in Dark Sun. So the classic Dark Sun setting, I've adapted for 5th edition, and I've got an awesome cast. It's every Tuesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, over on LFM_network on Twitch. And we had our first session this week. It went awesome. It was so much fun. Somebody got pushed out of a window, and I'm really excited for that game and this game. It's a fun February. That's all.
Well,
that's all I got.
Congratulations on both of your premieres. Please do go and check out that show. It honestly is great. I watched that on Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to next week's session. Other people I'm looking forward to seeing next week includes the wonderful Ray, who played Staley tonight. Ray, what was your favorite or least favorite part of today's session, depending on which way you want to look at it? And where can we find you on the internet?
Oh, my favorite part was by far the subtle creepiness to everything. It wasn't like outright creepy, but it was just enough to make you like go, huh? That's not quite right. And I love that, because then it can build and go a bunch of different places. So I love that. That's my favorite part. And on the interwebs, you can find me at With a Brick on Twitter, on Instagram. I have some things up on the DMs Guild, and I'm working on a bunch more. So if you follow me on Twitter, I will keep you up to date on all of those wonderful things. But it's a blast to play with this group, and I am so excited to see where this story goes.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Let's hop on down to producer Trav and find out what your favorite part of today's session was. Thank you so much, Trav, for being here. And where can we find you on the internet?
Where else would I be, Charlie, on a Friday afternoon but gaming with you? Don did something at the end of this game that turned me on, and I'm ready to do it. And I love the immediate dynamic between me and Josh. Josh DMs me yesterday. He goes, "So what do you like as a roommate?" Long pause. In the game, I mean. And I had a really good laugh about that, and we had a lively discussion, and it's really put my guy in perspective. I got to hit all the beats I wanted to hit. He's somewhere between the third man and Nick Cave's red right hand, and a little bit of John Cusack from Grosse Point Blank. There's so much like development we're going to get to see across these next few sessions and these characters. I think it's my favorite thing about this game is that we're going to get to see these folks over a pretty long stretch of time and see how they grow and develop. And I'm really pumped because I love this group and these characters. I'm super excited. I'm producer Trav. Man, you got to go over to Lindy's Twitch and check out this alien game I got going. Man, it is a pip. We are on show 6. I got special guests. Greg is the genius. We got aliens. We got our body count started stacking up last time. We got Blade Runners. We got Predators. We're having one hell of a time, and there's more on the way. Really cool, really cool curveball happens in the second hour, so you got to check it out. We got Teenagers from Outer Space coming up here pretty soon too this month with Lindy, and I'm just so glad to be here. And Charlie, thank you for this, and I can't wait for next Friday.
And my roommate tonight was played by the wonderful Lydia. How are you doing, Lydia?
I'm doing so good. This was wonderful. This is exactly the type of thing that I like. It was so unsettling. I think my favorite part was Charlie's dental cleaning, because that's just so terrifying and unsettling. I hated it. It was great. If you want, you can find me on the internet. I'm on Twitter at Lydia Heels and pretty much everywhere else. You can find me there, mainly posting pictures of my gigantic dog. And I'm here Fridays.
The gigantic dog that haunts Seawall Orphanage, as is canon confirmed today. Let's hop on across and speak to Josh, who plays Jacob.
Hey,
Okay.
Charlie. Thank you.
How are you doing, friend?
Not good. As the person who's been messaging Charlie consistently and just being like, "You hate this, right?" And we're both like, "Yeah, I hate it," but like love it at the same time. But we are not good with the horror. To sum up, like, suggestions were chatted in the world building stuff, and everyone was like, "You gotta watch this, you gotta watch this." And someone said something about like a creepy lighthouse, and I think Charlie's reaction was like, "There's a lighthouse in like Pip the Dragon or something like that. I'd much rather watch that." And I'm like, "You get me?"
Yeah, Pete's Dragon. I was like, "There's a lighthouse in that. We can get everything we need from Pete's Dragon."
Exactly. My name is Roleplayers, aka Roleplayers_TV at the moment. It is favorite moment for the night. Genuinely how badly I rolled against Tommy. And like the fact that it lined up perfectly, that I went downstairs to like throw him in the doghouse, and just as I went to walk into the room, Charlie was like, "Yeah, Jacob's been smoking," and I walked straight into that. And it was perfect. It was so cinematic, and I love that. But there's so many great moments from tonight. I'm really loving how everyone's sort of jiving, how guilty I feel for just things that like a teenager would just be like, "That's no biggie," and like as an adult, I'm like, "God, I'm a monster." So that's fun. As for me, you can find me, speaking of monsters, you can find me slaying monsters on Wednesdays for Witcher Wednesdays over on Tales from the Grim at 5 p.m. PST, where I play Aris, the Witcher, who just straight up shredded, wrecked, absolutely murderized the Wraith like an absolute badass, and it was super cool. I really wish that I had a 10th of his in real life to face the supernatural and paranormal, because I just got vomited on by some kind of creepy old possessed crazy dude. That's looking forward to that. But speaking of people I've been terrible to, one huge apology out to Tommy, and take it away.
What a segue. Thank you, Josh. How are you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing great. You have nothing to apologize for, Josh. I loved it. I love the dynamic between our characters because it's not something you actually really see that often, I feel like, in games where we're all... Because you always feel like you gotta kind of get along, but here we're just like, no, we don't get along.
We're teenagers.
We're teenagers. We don't get along. And so, my favorite moment was definitely Josh being a little shit and lying to Mr. Toothaker. That was so good. When I realized what you were doing, I was like, oh my god, yes, this is great. But yeah, that was so much fun. I love everyone's characters. I love what everyone's doing. The second favorite moment was Ren being an unintentional pot stirrer there at the end. By ratting Josh out to Gigi. Just it's great. It's great. And I am so looking forward to next week. But in an anxious kind, an anxious, I'm excited, but also very nervous. That's how I've been since we started planning this game. But I am Imperator Pengo on the Twitter sphere. As I said, I do some tabletop RPG stuff. Starting soon, I believe on the 22nd, so not tomorrow, but the Saturday after. I'll be over on Salty Sweet Games, playing Masks of, I cannot pronounce it, Nyarlathotep?
Nyarlathotep.
Neil, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It's
No,
Call of
you've been
Cthulhu.
for it.
It's Call of Cthulhu. I'm there where I play a sweet cinnamon roll photographer journalist who's totally not Jay. Like I said, I'm just going to be in horror and drama land this season. So looking forward to that. Just follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting a schedule with links to everything soon. And yeah.
And I think everyone can take a breath because this is the end of our Friday and the clock is ticking and there is never enough time. But we are still here. But it is the weekend, so everyone go and enjoy your weekend. And we will be back on Monday with my show, The Crownlands, which is a Song of Ice and Fire system game with Susanna Grace, Sam Ewell Webb, Shauna. Who else is in that game? So many great people are in that game. Amelia Tyler is in that game. And, of course, Nuno as our hapless horse salesman, house lord. Happy birthday, I think, was what was just said. I'm not sure, but it was great. So thank you to everyone who has stuck with us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed both of the premieres we've had for you, and I hope you will be back in next week because we're going to try not to roll too many nat ones because everyone laughs when we do. Good night, everyone. We will see you next week.